There is something science has known for decades, but the world has barely begun to understand. You emit light. Not metaphorically, not spiritually, physically, measurably, scientifically. In 2025, researchers at the University of Calgary confirmed what mystics, sages, and ancient healers claimed for millennia, that living organisms, all of them, emit a faint, measurable light. A light that vanishes the moment life ends. This is the story of that light, and of the invisible field that surrounds every living thing on Earth. For most of human history, science divided the world into the visible and the invisible. What you could see, measure, touch, that was real. Everything else was imagination, or religion, or both. But here is what those ancient artists understood that took modern science centuries to confirm: life radiates. The human body is not a closed system, sealed within its skin. It is an open, dynamic, broadcasting station, constantly emitting energy fields that extend beyond the body itself. Today, physicists call this the biofield. Biologists call it biophoton emission. Cardiologists measure it as the heart's electromagnetic field, and quantum theorists are beginning to wonder if it might even be the substrate of consciousness itself. This film is about the convergence of ancient knowing and cutting-edge science. It's about what you are, beyond what you can see in any mirror. The idea that humans possess an energetic body beyond their physical form is one of the oldest and most universal ideas in human history. In ancient India, Vedic scholars described the pranamaya kosha, the vital energy body, as one of 5 sheaths that make up the complete human being. In China, healers mapped the meridian system, invisible channels through which qi, or life force, flows. The ancient Greeks spoke of pneuma, the animating breath of life. In medieval Europe, physicians debated the vital spirit. Every culture, on every continent, across every century of recorded history, has described something beyond the flesh. A luminous double. An energetic signature. An aura. For centuries, science dismissed all of this as superstition. As projection. As wishful thinking dressed in religious clothing. Then came the instruments precise enough to actually look. Of all the organs in the human body, one stands apart as an electromagnetic titan. The heart. Scientists at the HeartMath Institute have conducted decades of research into what they call cardio-electromagnetic communication. What they found is staggering. The human heart generates an electrical field 60 times greater in amplitude than the brain. Its magnetic field, 100 times stronger. Not 50, not twice, 100 times. And this field doesn't stay inside your chest. Using squid magnetometers, superconducting quantum interference devices so sensitive they can detect the magnetic field of a single nerve firing, researchers have measured the heart's electromagnetic field extending at least 3 feet in every direction from the body. Every time someone stands close to you, your electromagnetic fields are touching, interacting, communicating, below the threshold of conscious awareness. When a mother holds her newborn child, when 2 people fall in love, when a crowd of strangers witnesses something profound together, there is electromagnetic physics happening. Real, measurable, undeniable. The HeartMath Institute has demonstrated that the heart's electromagnetic field encodes and transmits emotional information. When you feel gratitude, when you feel love, when you feel fear or anxiety, the heart doesn't just feel these states. It broadcasts them in changing patterns, rhythms, and frequencies, encoded in its magnetic field. This is called heart rate variability coherence. And researchers have found that when 2 people achieve synchronized heart rate variability, something measurable happens in the space between them. Their physiological rhythms begin to entrain, to synchronize, as if 2 instruments tuning to the same frequency. Science, cold, measured, empirical science, is telling us that empathy may not just be an emotion. It may be an electromagnetic event. Now, we need to talk about light. In 2025, scientists at the University of Calgary published research confirming something extraordinary. Every living system on Earth emits a faint light, a phenomenon called ultraweak photon emission, or UPE, biophotons. This light is not incidental. It is not waste. It is generated by the biochemical processes at the heart of life itself. Metabolic reactions, the production of reactive oxygen species within mitochondria, the very engines of cellular existence. And here is the detail that takes your breath away. When life ends, the light stops. Immediately. Not fading slowly. Not dimming gradually. The biophoton field extinguishes, like a flame, like a light switched off. Ancient cultures lit flames at death. They painted halos around the heads of the living, not the dead. Could they sense, in ways we are only now measuring, that life itself carries a light? In 2024 and 2025, research published in Nature's Scientific Reports made an even more remarkable claim, that DNA itself, the double helix at the center of every living cell, may be a primary source of this ultra-weak biophoton light. Your DNA may be a biological laser, emitting coherent light, communicating information across the cells and systems of your body in the language of photons, the most fundamental particles of light in the universe. You are not just a body running on chemical reactions. You are a biophotonic organism, a being of living light. But light is only part of the story, because before light, there is electricity. Every cell in your body carries an electrical charge. The difference in voltage between the inside and outside of a cell membrane, called the resting membrane potential, or VMEM, is not just a static feature of cellular life. It is a dynamic language. Developmental biologists have discovered that VMEM acts as a bioelectric code, a set of electrical instructions that tell cells where they are in the body, what kind of cell to become, when to grow, and when to stop. When you sustain an injury, the disruption to your bioelectric field creates a signal, a galvanic current that acts as a biological alarm. Cells detect this disturbance in the electrical landscape and migrate toward it. This process, called galvanotropism, is one of the fundamental mechanisms of wound healing. In organisms like the axolotl, the remarkable Mexican salamander, scientists have demonstrated that bioelectric currents don't just support tissue repair. They orchestrate it. Fixing medical equipment at a research institute when he accidentally discovered something that would fascinate, confound, and divide the scientific community for decades. He discovered that by placing an object directly on a photographic plate and running high-frequency electrical current through it, he could capture a stunning corona of light around the object, a radiant halo, an energetic signature made suddenly visible. Critics, and there were many, argued that the corona discharges simply reflected moisture content, pressure, and electrical conductivity. Nothing mystical, nothing meaningful. But then came the phantom leaf effect. Under controlled conditions, researchers placed a leaf under the Kirlian device, then removed a portion of the leaf, and photographed the remainder. What appeared on the photographic plate was the corona discharge of the entire leaf, including the part that was no longer physically there. The field remained, even when the physical matter it surrounded had been removed. The scientific debate around this effect remains active and unresolved, but the questions it raises are profound. Do living systems carry a blueprint, an energetic template, that precedes and persists beyond the physical body? Is the field primary, and the matter secondary? Today's researchers use biowell devices, modern descendants of Kirlian technology, to capture photonic emissions from fingertips and map them to organ systems and health states. In hospitals and research centers across Europe and Asia, this technology is being evaluated as a non-invasive diagnostic window into the body's energetic architecture. And now, we arrive at the deepest and most provocative frontier of all. For decades, neuroscience has operated on a seemingly obvious assumption, that consciousness is produced by the brain, that your inner life, your awareness, your sense of being here, now, experiencing this, is a product of neural firing, of electrochemical signals cascading through cortical networks. But several extraordinary theories have emerged that challenge this assumption at its foundation. The orchestrated objective reduction theory, developed by physicist Sir Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Dr. Stuart Hameroff, proposes that consciousness arises not from neural firing alone, but from quantum computations occurring within protein structures called microtubules, inside every neuron. If Penrose and Hameroff are correct, the human brain is not just a classical computer processing information deterministically. It is a quantum processor, tapping into the probabilistic, entangled, non-local nature of quantum reality. And in 2025, an experiment measured quantum entanglement between pairs of human subjects, and found that it accounted for between 8.4 and 13.5% of variance in human implicit learning tasks. Meaning, quantum entanglement, a phenomenon Einstein called spooky action at a distance, may influence how human minds learn and communicate. Meanwhile, same thing. They were all looking at the same light. They simply didn't have the instruments to prove it. We do now. The biofield was not discovered in 1992. It was only measured then. You are not a body that has experiences. You are a field of energy, having a physical experience. You emit light that your eyes cannot see but that instruments can measure. You broadcast a magnetic field that extends beyond your skin and into the room, the world, the space around you. Your DNA is a photon emitter. Your heart is an electromagnetic generator 60 times more powerful than your brain. Ancient cultures knew this. They painted it in gold leaf on sacred walls. They described it in Sanskrit, in Chinese, in Latin, in every language humans have ever spoken. And now, with our most precise instruments, our most sensitive detectors, our most powerful theories, science is arriving, at last, at the place where the mystics have always stood. The light is real, the field is real, you are luminous, and the universe has always known your name.